The age of antitrust tyranny is over. In its place, we could be looking at 4 years of relatively unfettered capitalism, likely with higher stock prices, especially for the Magnificent Seven. It's why the Nasdaq crossed 20,000 for the first time today, up 1.77%, record high. Dow dipped 99 points. S&P gained 0.82%. Today is indeed a very big day. It's a celebration based on the replacement of big corporate nemesis Lina Khan, the current FTC head, by a pro-corporate regulator, Andrew Ferguson. Bye. He's also on the FTC. We know what he's done. He's pro-business. It's fabulous news for the tech titans because the hectoring, the threats, the endless bouts of litigation, maybe they will soon be over. Hence the Nasdaq hoopla.
Jim Cramer discusses the shift in government regulation favoring major tech companies like Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, and Meta, with a reduced focus on antitrust enforcement under the new leadership of the Justice Department and FTC. He highlights that Nvidia, despite earlier scrutiny, is positioned to continue thriving, benefiting from relaxed regulations. Cramer believes this regulatory shift is a major factor behind the record stock prices of the Magnificent Seven tech giants, including a surge in the Nasdaq. Cramer also points out that the leadership changes at the FTC, with Andrew Ferguson taking over, are crucial in removing the pressure on these companies. This new pro-business environment allows these firms to innovate and grow without the heavy threat of government intervention, which had previously been a concern for firms like Apple and Amazon. The tech companies' strong financial positions, innovative products, and market dominance are central to their continued success. Cramer believes that, with regulatory challenges easing, these companies are well-positioned for future growth, which will keep their stock prices high.
Outgoing Justice Department was looking deep into Nvidia to see if it was engaged in monopolistic practices. Were they abusing the power to determine who gets the latest and greatest chips? I think the incoming Justice Department will come as close as possible to congratulating them for being the best in the world, allowing Nvidia to continue its winning streak. By the way, the stock's up 557,140% since it came public in 1999.
And we are talking Nvidia because there's never, frankly, not a good day to talk Nvidia. And thank you so much for joining us today, Tony. I'm excited to discuss more on this because I know this was within one of your sectors to watch into the election. We just fittingly talked Tesla post-election. So how has the market volatility and some of the price in Nvidia fared now post, of course, election post of early November? Has it met your expectations? Or have we seen, some degree of disappointment? It's hard to even say disappointment when you look at Nvidia, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be here, Jenny, and thank you for having me. I think prices trailed off a little bit, right? So going in post-election, you've seen a little bit of weakness in Nvidia, and no surprise there with how strong some of the price performance was. I think some of the surprising aspects are Nvidia's weakened considerably compared to some of its peers and even some of the other overall market. And so I see one of the things is Nvidia is going to continue to be a strong financial performer, but a lot of the dynamics you see playing out here is it a good trade? Is it a good value right now?
And I think that does remain, top of mind, absolutely, especially when you have these modest pullbacks. And in this week, we've seen a slight dip. Maybe just a bit of a pause on a momentous rally on the year. So in terms of its valuation, does this give you any concern? Because I know that's all what the skeptics say is that its price is high as it's ever been, but also I guess its growth and its earnings are as high as it's ever been.
Yeah, and that's when you're looking at forward PEs, which is what we're doing a lot now, just to get a better sense of it. It's current PEs around 55 times versus, AMD, Broadcom's, which is almost double that current. Go out a year or two. Forward PEs is looking in the low 30s, which is about 15% or so higher than other competitors like AMD, like Broadcom's PE. So it's not unreasonable, right? There's not a huge gap. And I would almost argue, even though it might not be the most favorable trade over the next maybe couple months, while the market maybe pulls a little bit of a retracement or even, the sector kind of some money comes out of that just to rebalance. I think Nvidia is very fairly priced, especially if you're going to be in the sector in some of these names. And it's financial and market dominance really cannot be matched.
The change at the FTC, as well as the shift in leadership at the antitrust division of the Justice Department, make me feel that we have seen the high tide of government interference for the companies we love.
House of pleasure.
But now we have to ask ourselves specifically what's driving the individual Mag 7 stocks to these record highs beyond just the changes in government. First, people are always dumbfounded these stocks can keep going up. You hear them, right? They're in disbelief that it can happen again and again. Me, on the other hand, I'm in disbelief that people still don't get it. They know nothing. These companies do amazing things. They keep changing. They keep inventing. They have all the money in the world, which allows them to hire the smartest people on earth. They are sovereign states with better balance sheets than any country. Let's take them one by one. Let's start with Apple, which was up nicely earlier today before pulling back at close. Today, Apple announced the release of iOS 18.2, which they say has a brand new set of Apple intelligence features, including ChatGPT, Image Playground, use to create funny Genmojis. We tested Genmojis by giving me my old hair back, but we couldn't do it. You son of a... What? I told you to cut that. All right, made us laugh. It's making you laugh. It's making everybody laugh. Hey, yeah, they're laughing at me. But I said, oh, you know what? I can handle that. Because it doesn't, not one bit. I'm cool with it. Oh, then we asked Siri something. We said, what would you do with a family of 4 in NYC in the winter? It replied, I'll need to use ChatGPT to write that. Should I go ahead? That's nice. We said yes. And then it gave us 5 terrific ideas emphasizing... Thank God they took that down. Emphasizing the winter aspect of this great city. I thought they were great ideas, coherent, cogent. Pretty much what it's kind of what I thought as someone who's lived here for 40 years. I got a lot of those ideas, but then there were others that were better. Succinct, terrific. Tim Cook, great job. I loved it. But there might be something else at work behind Apple's recent strength. We're likely seeing the end of the Biden administration's harebrained attempt to hobble Apple. Just like Kathy Bates hobbled James Caan and Cramer fade misery, one of Stephen King's best, by the way, although that particular scene is still a little difficult to watch. Back on March 21st, the Justice Department sued Apple for monopolizing the high-end smartphone market. In fact, they invented a whole new category of smartphone just to make this argument. Just went after Apple for charging more because Justice charged, whatever. They forgot that you can get it mostly from Verizon. I'm tired of the Andy Williams song already, okay? Apple exerted pressure everywhere, suppressing everything and everyone that competed against them, says Justice. Left out of the investigation? We can't live without these darn phones, for heaven's sake, because they're so good. They're great. And hey, if you don't like it online, just go buy a Samsung. Go ahead, make my day. I think common sense will take over under Trump's Justice Department, which seems far more concerned with ideological issues involving free speech. Apple will be fine under that because they're not a media platform. That's why the stock can keep rallying. It's yet another reason why Apple's giving you, get this, a 250,908% gain since coming public 44 years ago. Take that, S&P. Next, Amazon just won't quit, up $5 today, and this time it's all about President-elect Trump's pick for the FTC chair, Ferguson. He'll be replacing Khan, who, as I mentioned, was relentless in her attempts to smash Amazon. Boy, did she hate Amazon, because she thinks it's too powerful. As she put it, quote, Amazon's actions allow it to stop rivals and sellers from lowering prices, degrade quality for shoppers, overcharge sellers, stifle innovation, and prevent rivals from fairly competing against Amazon, end quote. What's missing? How about the fact that Amazon Prime is the greatest bargain in the world, and it's managed to lower prices for 200 million users? But if you're a merchant and you don't like their platform, just go to Shopify, for heaven's sake. It's not like Amazon's sending the mafia to put its rivals out of business. It's just great at what it does. How could the FTC be so out of step with America? How could it be? How could it be so ideological? So not respectful of Amazon or its reputation, the reputation of its own organization. Amazon, by the way, is up 306,913% since it came public on May 15th of 1997. You know, that doesn't happen if you're a relentless bad actor, like the FTC would have you believe. Alphabet may solve a problem with the authorities, not because they're so good, but because some members of the Trump team really do believe that Alphabet's trying to brainwash us with liberal ideology. That said, the Biden Justice Department's been trying to dismantle this business, and I bet they no longer are going to do that under Trump. Plus, with a GM self-driving business shutting down, Alphabet's Waymo is down a competitor. I think that greatly boosts the value of Waymo if Alphabet ever wants to spin it off. Still one more reason why this stock has rallied 9,086% since it came public August 19, 2004. Meta Platforms. It's up huge. Now, some of that's because Meta's multi-year hounding by the FTC is now over, even if the original investigation started during the Trump first term. On November 13th of this year, a federal judge ruled that the case can go forward. The market's breathing a sigh of relief because it's going to go forward under Andrew Ferguson, not Lana Khan. That makes me feel that things will work out and it'd be okay for Meta. Another reason why Meta stock is now up 1,565% since it came public on May 18th of 2012. In a last-minute attempt to slam as many Mag 7 stocks as she could, Lana Khan decided to go after Microsoft a couple weeks ago, mainly for bundling its cloud computing offerings with office and security products. You can't make this stuff up what this person was doing. Khan also wants to examine the company's growing power in the AI segment. She just can't stand big tech. I think this investigation it now goes nowhere. And that's how Microsoft can continue its long run. Now rallied, by the way, 615,798% since it came public in 1986. Can you believe these numbers?
In conclusion, Jim Cramer highlights that with new pro-business leadership at the Justice Department and the FTC, major tech companies like Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, and Meta are likely to continue thriving. The reduction in antitrust scrutiny has allowed these firms to innovate and grow without government interference, boosting their stock prices. Cramer believes this shift will contribute to sustained market dominance by these companies. Cramer also emphasizes that the success of these tech giants is not only due to regulatory changes but also their innovation and financial strength. As a result, their stock prices are expected to rise further, offering strong investment opportunities. How do you think the change in government regulation will affect the future growth of major tech companies? Do you believe these tech giants will continue to dominate the market without significant competition?